Hello everyone and welcome to today's daily challenge on October 22nd, 2020. Today we have a fun but interesting challenge. It's a little bit long, I would say, but it's pretty straightforward. Basically, we just have these towers. All upgrades that we have are all air-based. So in this case, we just have to get all the way to round 89 and beat it. For the start, I ended up choosing Brickle as my hero to start with. I also went with a Monkey Buccaneer. As you can see here, the first few rounds are pretty easy, I would say. By round 5, I end up getting a Grape Shot, and we continue going on until about round 10, when I can afford a Monkey Farm. What I would say about this challenge is, as much as you can farm, like, the better. Greed is definitely the name of the game for this one, as you're going to need a lot of money for near the end of the challenge. So as you can see here, I start off with a 100, upgrade to a 200 in just 1 second, and basically we're just going to be continuing to build the farms as we go along, as this 2-tower defense is pretty good for now. In a second, we're going to be adding another tower since we need some camo detection in a few rounds. So in this case, I go ahead and I add a boat, which I'm going to be giving camo to specifically. So one of the boats, as you saw, was a Grape Shot. This one is just going to be a destroyer, which will turn into an aircraft carrier and can detect camo. So as you can see, the round is just continuing. I end up affording double shot on both of these towers eventually, right here, as you can see. And this does a pretty good job at defending early game. You don't really need anything else, no need for any paying attention even, really. It isn't until the end of the challenge, like I mentioned, that you're really going to want to pay attention. So as you saw there, I went ahead and I got a hot shot as well. That's to make sure that we're completely suited for round 28 when we have to face off against leads. And this is when I start farming. So I go ahead and I get multiple farms, as you'll see, and every single farm that I get, I go ahead and I just upgrade to a 200. It's the most cost-effective way to do it in early game without spending too much money. There's my third farm once again. So like I mentioned, I'm going to be upgrading it to a 200. And then this is where I'm able to afford my destroyer for my camo detection. Since round 36 is coming and there's quite a few regrow camo greens, it's definitely a good idea to get some camo detection immediately. I go ahead and I get a helicopter by round 36 as well, and I end up affording pursuit and everything. The reason why I ended up getting this helicopter is because Moab Shove is definitely important for the first few encounters that we have with a Moab. As you can see here, though, I'm able to afford the Moab Shove and get another banana farm at round 40. So as you can see here, the helicopter does a fantastic job of just taking care of the outside, like the Moab layer, and then the insides are easily taken care of by the other 3 towers. We only have an 8-tower maximum, so for the most part for this challenge, we're going to be juggling through the amount of farms that we have and the attacking towers. So as you can see here, I go ahead and I upgrade all of my farms eventually. By round 50, we have all 300 farms. As you saw a little bit earlier there as well, I ended up getting a destroyer really quickly as well. So this, once again, just to bolster our defense over here so we don't have to worry. I go ahead and I sell the Moab Shove helicopter because we no longer need it, and we go ahead and we start saving up for our Apache Dart Ship, which is going to help out a lot more in later rounds. So as you can see here, I go ahead and I use my ability right here because this Moab is a little bit faster, and not to mention we had this second Moab coming from the top as well. We go ahead and we continue. As you can see, now that we have camo on our helicopter, we're doing really well for camo. We're finally able to afford Apache Dart Ship, so that makes things a lot easier, and then we can immediately afford Aircraft Dart Ship very soon thereafter, on both towers, actually, on both boats. So farming is definitely the way to go. Like I mentioned, it will really help throughout the entire time. This is where I go ahead and I sell 3 of the farms. Like I said, we're going to be doing a lot of juggling. I go ahead and I'm very close to affording a second Apache Dart Ship. So I go ahead and I start round 63 a little bit early without the Apache Dart ship, just because I know I'll be able to afford it immediately, just right there. And then that means I also don't have to sell another farm needlessly. So this one I'm playing at regular speed, just so you guys can see how I take care of everything. Be sure to count the waves for round 63. There's 3 waves, and remember that the 3rd wave is the biggest one. So you're going to want to make sure that at the 3rd wave you have your Brickle ability ready, so that when the wave comes out, you can immediately use the ability and it will wipe the floor with all the balloons and you won't have to worry about it, just as I show right over here. So pretty easy, I would say. We'll go ahead and we'll move on when round 64 is done. Round 65, we're continuing to add the monkey farms again, or the banana farms. We definitely need them. Like I said, as much money as we have near the end, the better. Okay, so I go ahead and I add a 3rd farm, once again going for just a standard 200 as quickly as I possibly can. This is where I go ahead and I upgrade one of my farms to a 300, and then a few rounds later I upgrade it once again to a 300. So pretty standard there, that's why I decided not to show that. Round 75 is a little bit tough. I actually took a few tries to get this one, so this is why I'm playing this one at regular speed. Just be sure that, you know, you're stopping and exiting to restart the round to make sure that you don't die when the balloons get close to the exit. I know with this map, it's a little bit difficult to see where the balloons are going to end up since they overlap a lot, but don't be afraid to use the ability. In this case, as you saw, I used the ability about halfway through the round. I saw that some of my towers are getting pretty overwhelmed, and the Apache Dart ships will start going back and forth from the top entrance and the bottom entrance, and you can tell that's when they're sort of getting a little bit confused and a little bit overwhelmed. So if you want to micro them as well, be my guest. For me at least, I didn't have to. I go ahead and I sell one of my banana farms over here. What I'm going for and what I'm doing the math for over here is seeing if I can afford an Apache Prime. So I actually have to end up selling my one Apache Dart ship along with another 2 farms in order to afford Apache Prime, but it makes round 76 so easy. So immediately I go ahead and I afford another banana farm right thereafter, just because I want to make sure that I have money coming in constantly. So round 78, I slow down once again. Round 78 is very long. So you'll see me, I actually use the ability right here, Brickle's ability. It's actually going to come up again for the second camo ceramic wave that's going to come in just a second. So I actually have more than enough time to use the ability twice. So do not hesitate from using the ability when the first group of cerams come, because when the second group of cerams come, like I am showing over here, you'll be able to take care of it with the Brickle ability. So once again, pretty straightforward so far. It isn't until the mid 80s that things start really picking up. I go ahead and I get another farm. I feel like I'm repeating myself at this point, but like I said, this is really what you're going for. This is what you're trying to aim for. Get as much money as possible. In this case, I go ahead and I get an Operation Dartstorm. This is just to do some more extra damage to the Moabs as they come along. I go ahead and I sell my all my farms at this point, just because I feel like I have enough money, and I go ahead and I get an Apache Dart ship, another one. So now I have a Prime and a Dart ship. So it's pretty smooth sailing, I would say, up until this point, where I see once again that there's quite a big cluster of Moabs and whatnot. So I go ahead and I use the ability again. What I would recommend would be play around with the ability. Like I said, this is usually the timing that I have. But if you need to exit and retry again, don't hesitate to do so. You know, the last thing that you want to do is spend a lot of money. We'll talk about that in a second, actually. I can speak from personal experience. What you'll notice here is that I use Brickle's level 10 now and again. Whenever I remember that the ability is up, I go ahead and I place it right in the middle over there. And then as you can see here, once again, I saw that there were a lot of Moabs, BFBs, and ZOMGs. So in this case, I went ahead and I used the ability, and I saw where that got me. I go ahead and I sell my Operation Dartstorm there and see if I can go ahead and afford another Apache Dart ship. In this case, once again, I'm very, very close. So I just give it a second, start the round, and then I'm able to afford it. So we move on there. So now we have an Apache Prime and 2 Dart ships. So this is really good. Like I mentioned, I go ahead and I place the level 10 right in the middle over there. Now this is the hardest part, I would say. Round 89, don't pay attention to the amount of money that I have. I had to restart a few times, but in this case, I sold one of my dart chips. I ended up getting a Moab Shove and the Comanche Defense to ensure that I can push the Moabs back. So in this case, I go ahead and I do follow mouse. I'm slowing this down. I go ahead and I do follow mouse for the Comanche Defense. And basically, wherever the Apache Prime and Dart Ship are firing, I am on the opposite side, basically holding the Moabs back. Around this point is when you can see the Comanche Defense is basically taking care of both sides. Now, this is the important part over here. Once again, the Dart Ship and the Prime are going for one end, so I'm going for the other end. I'm waiting for all the clumps to come together as much as possible, so then I can go ahead and use Brickle's second ability, place the bomb right in the middle. And then when I see that there are the most Moabs and BFBs there, I go ahead and I use the ability, just like so. So this is basically to make sure that, I can absolutely power through everything. And that is it. That is the whole challenge. A little bit difficult. I would definitely recommend you guys taking your time with this one. Don't hesitate to exit and try again, but I'm sure that you'll be able to get it no problem. Obviously, if you guys have any more questions or anything, feel free to leave them in the comments down below. But other than that, I will see you guys later and have yourself a great day.